Hello, stream. How are y'all doing? You're gonna see my thing is muted. It's fine. It's completely fine. The stars. This is hangout, by the way. I didn't, show that. I should have. I didn't. I also have cantaloupe, so I'll be, taking my time slowly eating this and making sure Peaches doesn't try eating it too. Because she's eyeing it. And I mean it, she's eyeing it. It's mine, not yours. Mine. The stars had magically aligned somehow. Everyone was free today. But it was more than just luck. You owed it all to Miranda's determination. She set things up over several phone calls to find the perfect window to hit the beach you couldn't wait to meet up with. Terry, Miranda Cove, and Baxter, too. Granny's schedules have been especially rough lately, but you didn't let that stop you from organizing your grand plan. You want your new friend to be included in all the fun. After a bit of messaging with the others, you brought up the possibility of adding Baxter to the mix. No one objected to your request, so you and Terry swiftly put his phone number to good use. Peaches just tried to take a bite of my cantaloupe. She gave me a dirty look when I moved it away. You get to lick the lid of the container. That's all I'm allow you to do. Baxter had been flattered to be thought of that early in the planning stage. Funnily enough, he'd been the easiest one to account for, despite being far and away the newest guy in the block. Baxter was able to rearrange his schedule to wherever everyone else needed, and you and Terry relayed their main details to Cove and Miranda later. Your hopes were high. Almost everyone knew each other to varying degrees, but this would be Miranda and Baxter's first time meeting. And yet you weren't that worried. Deep down you had a pretty good feeling that they'd get along once they got to spend a little time together. That was where things stood. The prior evening, Baxter texted you for advice. He had been caught between his options. Should he come to you, or should he hang back and you'd come get him when your friends were ready? He was his troubles by simply inviting him to your house. You thought it'd be nice to hang out with him before the official hangout. Checking the clock, there was a small window to get ready before Baxter arrived. Despite it being well past morning, you were wearing your pajamas. You had known you didn't have anywhere to be until the beach trip and had a lazy start to the day. But still, you need to put a swimsuit on. You knew it was clean and folded in one of your drawers. It was more of a question of which one. Search you couldn't help your mind wondering. Luckily, since you're average height, you'll need to worry about finding the right size. When it came to the shape of your body, curves, and little muscle. Your body was toned and firm, with muscle over there, though slight in size. You kept most of the same shape you had throughout your teenage years. You were used to your body, and your body was used to your habits. Sitting down to yourself, your train of thought drifted until you were lost. I was so sure being called her was right for you. And they're medium, you suppose. You like the size they had? I don't. I'm randomly clicking here, people. Let me just state that. People had a lot of their identity wrapped up in their physical form. It shaped their self-image. You're comfortable. Hi, Zombie. Hi, Kata. To be fair, I didn't even know that this one would be going through this stuff. Your body was you, and it was good. It was a good one that you felt content in. It was until a steady knock fell against the door that you snapped back into the present reality. Baxter was already here, and you hadn't even changed yet. You knew that you couldn't just ignore him. Pivoting towards the door, you shrinked your PJs. Come on in. Welcome to my hectic morning. The knob wiggled, and then the door glided open. Baxter Cordley stepped in, catching your eye with an already developed grin. That's good. Holy crap. There we go. Baxter Cordley stepped in, catching your eye with an already developed grin. Get it, new beanie. I must tell you again how touched I am by your thoughtfulness. You didn't have to open your door to me and play host even before scheduled plans. And just tempting, the fact that I'm allowed to be standing here is a fortunate sign. A neighbor at most would have been set aside in the living room if they were welcome into the home in the first place. Wave your hand, you moved as if you were giving him a grand bow. What? Of course, you're more than only a neighbor. A neighbors are important in this town anyway. Hi, this is my bedroom. Preston nodded graciously an inch forward, letting his gaze curiously examine this new place. He noticed his posture relaxing the longer he was there. Telescope, that's very nice. Thanks, I like it a lot too. Max turned his attention back to you directly. For a split second, his gaze flickered down to your outfit. His polite exterior faltered. It's reassuring to know I'm not the only one who can get behind. Hey, don't forget, I saw your PJs first. True. The answer changing into some say going like that. But later. Baxter answered with such ease that you honestly couldn't tell if he was joking or not. Well, I am certainly looking forward to spending an afternoon on the beach with all of you. I'll be not getting into the ocean. There was more than a hint of insistence in his tone, and it was completely unexpected from the up for anything about the Baxter ward. He carelessly ran his fingers through his hair and left it messier than usual. A note of worry rose in his throat. And what if I get a sunburn? And I can spend multiple hours there. I'm not risking making the situation worse by exposing my entire chest and legs to the summer sun. By this, Baxter meant his delicate, pinky skin. He expressed that by holding his bare arms out towards you. I understand why you'd be uncomfortable with that. If he didn't add anything else, Baxter stared at you oddly. He was clearly expecting pushback, but you shrugged instead. Sunburns in summertime in California are no joke. When I was in school, there'd be at least one person who came back from vacation completely fried every year. And he laughed. You watched Baxter settle again. I'm delighted to hear that's something we can agree on. I confess, I haven't actually swum. I haven't actually swum in the ocean. Or is it I haven't actually swim in the ocean? Which is grammatically correct. Which is the correct version. Swim or swum? Swam. I haven't actually swam in the ocean. they they may have did a little uh-oh. I'm not gonna lie. Even though this game has been out for so long, I do enjoy that there's still little things that they didn't realize. Because it's nice and fun. At any point, are trying to degree. Really? Never? Never. That detail's hard to wrap your brain around. Your moms have been taking you to the beach since you were a toddler. Should ought to give a try while you can. Just think about it. You're already spending the whole summer in a beach town. I bet you never thought that was going to happen. What's a better chance than now to add a new experience to the mix? Baxter put his arms across his chest. Your words hung there while he thoroughly considered it. Alright, I conceded. I'll at least change. And yet he remained rude in place. Baxter's clearly no rush to leave. Chuckling, you're delighted that Baxter wanted to hang out with you just as much as you wanted with him. Fortunately, neither of you could afford to dawdle much longer. It's time to get ready already. We should both change. We're kind of cutting things close. No need to apologize. I should have kept a better eye on the clock. I'll see you soon. I thought I'd go dress myself properly for the occasion. You dread sigh in front of the house. Please excuse me. And on that note, Baxter sauntered out. Once the door was firmly shut, you raced around the room to get ready. My mama, I just totally was saying I can't look mama. Do it. Let's go with Had standing by the door, you scanned the room one last time. You mentally ran through the list of things you might need later. There. Sunglasses. Wait. I can't pick more than one thing? I can only bring one? will then cover up. So you're officially ready to leave and meet back up with Baxter. Stepping onto the street, you surmised that Baxter wasn't finished as fast as you. He wasn't there, but that absent didn't mean you were alone. Philip stood outside his house with eyes glued to his phone. He typed out a message just before spotting you. Hey, there's a car straight and scheduled to stop at his side. I'm here. You seen Baxter? Not yet. Tiffany peered at Baxter's condo, but there was no sign of him, nor at the back of his neck. I just walked out, and then Terry texted me. Her and Miranda should be here pretty soon. They're mostly on schedule, I hope. What is playing in my music? Ooh. I'm trying to make sure that it's not super loud for y'all. And I keep clicking on the wrong thing. Alright, Co smiled, but musically, he shrugged. I believe in them. Want to check on Baxter? Nodding Co double checked his phone. Satisfied with what he saw, he slid it back into the back of his swim trunks. His fairly neutral attitude on topic Baxter didn't escape your notice. Didn't get uncomfortable whenever Baxter surprised or flustered him, but since things were pre-planned and for an event favorable to Co, he didn't seem bothered. Cool, let's go. Okay. The two of you walked hurried up the street. He hopped up onto the doorstep and rang the bell. A few seconds passed, and you shifted your weight on your feet while you waited. But Baxter didn't answer. The pause extended until things reached the point where you felt awkward hovering in front of his shut door. You spun towards Cove, and you returned your nervous stare with a tight-lipped smile. At least you could take solace in the fact that the mild misery had company. There are only a couple options to pick from. You could either ring the doorbell again, or you could send a text. Reach for your phone, but a sudden noise through the wood made you stop. Finally, the door cracked open, Baxter peeked through, then swung the door the rest of the way out to reveal another entry of his signature grayscale style. All his casual clothes, his pajamas, his formal wear, and now his beige look. Baxter was entirely committed. Baxter had unsurprisingly changed into a black and gray swimsuit. He bared the trunks of an unbuttoned white shirt, and the corners of your mouth curved in amusement to his dedication. Good afternoon. I can't thank you both enough for waiting. Hey. Looking good. The flick of your wrist, he added, bring guns to compliment. Baxter grinned delightfully and gestured to ensemble. And this thrown together look, thank you. As we become far more laid back, Co was the one to move things forward. So I was thinking if you get settled at the beach now, and Terry and Miranda can catch up with us there. I second that. While the steam were just shining, I think a change of scenery would be preferable. Then we're all in agreement. Our beach day begins now. Exuberantly pointed in the direction of the beach while Cove paused to shoot off a quick update. What are you staring at? There's nothing there, ma'am. Be sure to let the others know exactly where to find you. He flashed thumbs up as soon as the message was sent, and with that, the three of you strolled down the street. Give me one moment. Oof. Hiccups. Hate him. The path you walked was as natural as breathing for you and Cove. Baxter's brand new experience. Though you may not have been able to tell, he walked straight on, certainty in a step that was on par with the locals. The ocean stretched as far as the eye could see. It was a perfect day. Clear sky, rolling waves, and an inviting breeze coming across the water to combat the balmy heat. Go through his towel down, smooth out the corners while you settle on a spot for your own things nearby. Baxter meanwhile hesitated, merely watched what you two had done. Before you could say anything, Baxter moved forward and picked a small stretch of beach close to yours for his own things. He meticulously laid his pure black towel out over the warm, white sand. Turning away, you tried to hold back and hide your laughter. It was just so convenient that even here his black and white color scheme was inescapable. I stared right ahead, hypnotized by the moving water, and carefully lowered himself onto the towel. For you, your friendly neighbor's ocean was old and well-loved friend. But witnessing the wonder dancing through Baxter's eyes reminded you of how vast and awe-inspiring the sight truly was when it was right in front of you. You could also come and realize that he was taken in by the sight by that side of Baxter's well. The beach was a special place for the people of Sunset Bird. Now it's working its magic on Baxter. Cub seemed flattered by the awe and unspoken approval written all over Baxter's face. The scene meant more to him than even the others living there. To appreciate it was to accept him. He hugged his knees to his chest. So, what did you want to do? When he didn't answer, Baxter tore his focus away from the water, pleasantly surprised to find out that Cove had directed that question to him instead. Oh, I've been running on the assumption that you all had something in mind. Wherever it is, works for me. We don't. Nope, no ideas. I truthfully prefer to stay as dry as possible. Taking a stroll or simply remaining here, where we are, enjoying the scenic view, would make a perfect afternoon in my book. But my one shouldn't interfere with yours. I won't stop anyone from having fun in the water. Right the shore, not heartless. Go messily brushed his hair back and thought about Baxter's idea of beach trip. Sigurd rolled into a rumbling laugh. I guess you're not going to make much use of that swimsuit. It's already served me rather well, I think. Pinning playfully, Baxter's brow arched and his mouth crooked. Cove stopped laughing. He stared back stunned. Mm, me too. Cool. Stretching your arms high above your head, you felt the sunshine on your fingertips. Baxter moved his eyes off you. Oh, the water exactly to your liking. He kicked his heels, setting some grains of sand that had gone on his towel sailing. He had done well starting the conversation, but now he wasn't sure how to keep it going. Like it didn't take long to hear shouts. Turned your head to see both Miranda and Terry running straight for you. Miranda was faster, making leaps and bounds across the sand. Terry followed in her wake, laughing with her towel clutched around her shoulders and flowing like a cape. Miranda started making her jumps more theatric and more precarious as she got closer. Cove waved them on with a bright grin. Mm, The two officially arrived at your little group setup, being completely ready for an ocean adventure. They were already in their swimwear and were raring to go. I love her swim outfit. It's so cute. Awkwardly, Cove pointed in Baxter's direction. Remember that Miranda hadn't actually seen him before. That's Baxter. The strange young man's presence nearby suddenly made a lot more sense to her. Miranda shyly waved with a cheerful smile. Hi, nice to meet you. Likewise. Baxter overheard her handshake and Miranda grew confused at his formal gesture, taking the reactions of her friends, and if she was the weird one for thinking this was weird. They only made a smile one. I can assure you that I'm harmless. You knew Miranda well enough to recognize the worry she was trying to hide behind a more collected front. It was easy to imagine that she might have felt somewhat intimidated. Baxter had an air of maturity about himself, while Miranda was a little bit childish and shy in comparison. Hesitantly, she clapped his hand and gave him a proper shake. Thanks for meeting us here today. It's my pleasure. Baxter placed his other hand on the back of hers. While he spoke, they both let go, and Terry sprung forward. Hello, hello. She teasingly punched Baxter's upper arm. Nice to see you too. Terry had already made her dramatic introduction to him at the start of summer, so she decided to skip right to the good part, hanging out. The B-Man is actually here. I can't believe how long it took for everyone to get together. Hi, Cove. Hi, and Beanie too. Hey. Catch us up. Did we miss anything important? No, I don't think so. Come up that Baxter's basically your boyfriend already, so that wasn't anything you needed to announce again. You know, it's the biggest event of your summer so far. Other than Baxter appearing in the neighborhood, it's been totally normal. That's probably a good thing. We might not be so lucky with the next big thing that comes our way. Terry crosses her arm and nodded sagely. Baxter tugged at the collar of his shirt. Really, my person's the only earth-shattering big news being whispered about? It's not that big. Everything is just even smaller. Not a lot happens, besides some new people and longer wait times at the touristy places in town. Since the bird can be predictable as Cove Holden. Hey. Well, hopefully I'm a welcome change to pace during my stay here. Absolutely. Sarah then started talking about her morning and how she almost overslept since she had stayed up too late last night. She bounced on her feet as she spoke. But don't worry about me being tired today. I ran unless back during school. Miranda filled in the group about her morning. Apparently everything had gone smoothly. But with Terry on the way here, and you knew the rest. Cove offers suggestion to the game. Hey, why don't we take this all to the water? Oh yeah, definitely. But please look over, remember that you want what you want to do. Sometimes you can be thoughtful like that. Terry threw her stuff down in the sand and started running for the waves. Miranda was more careful setting her things down, waiting for you and Cove. Cove to his shoulder to just over. I've been looking forward to this. Four of you made your way down to the shoreline together. Miranda cartwheeled, and Terry clapped. Cove swam out the furthest while Terry instigated a splash fight. It was near enough the Baxter could comment on it. There's rarely a quiet moment where someone isn't laughing. Our spots in the group had moved between different activities, some low-key and some more exhaustive. For you, it was break time. Baxter agreed. He sat in your towel sipping at some water, and he rested on his. Your friends were hard at work, burying Terry's full body under a pile. Randy used her arms to force up sand around Terry's side. Cove worked on covering Terry's feet. He took another drink, glanced over at Baxter. He was staring at the water, but there was an entirely different feeling radiating from him. Rather than pure awe, there was a level of discomfort marring Baxter's expression. You wondered what was bothering him. Suddenly he turned towards you as if he could feel your curiosity prodding at him. Surprised you with a kind smile. There's a reason why I've never gone in the ocean before. I just let that hang there and as we went, brushed some sand off his thigh. He hadn't elaborated earlier, and you weren't quite sure if he was going to know. It became clear that he was carefully choosing his words. The last thing he wanted was to push him. Well, the idea of being fully immersed in the ocean is a bit frightening. It seems endlessly deep and unpredictable, with powerful waves and rapid currents. And there are creatures lurking in there. Some of them are larger than me. It's unfathomable. You don't play with something like that. If I enter the water, I'll never return from it. The ocean will swallow me whole. That's what I think. His mouth strained under the weight of his growing nervousness. Baxter had always carried himself so calmly that his generally vulnerability left you speechless. Then you hear Miranda screech. Your tiny neatly swished over to your friends. Eventually, Terry had gotten impatient and shifted her legs. Whilst Miranda had been meticulously building collapse into a wet heap of sand, she surveyed the damage critically. We're gonna start over on that part. Do you want to give up on this now? No way. The burial must continue. I'll try not to move anymore. If you're sure, I'll try to fix this. Miranda started to rebury her, and Terry shot at her a thumbs up, realizing too late that moving her was a bad idea. Miranda sat into her crumble, and Miranda put her head in her hands. Don't worry, I've got that part. Miranda nodded at him with appreciation. They got back to work, redoubling their efforts to pile sand over the limbs of their friend. Baxter caught your eye, and you both snickered at the interruption. Secret quiet again, you offered Baxter some words. Nothing wrong with that, Baxter, being scared of the ocean. Your answered expression gradually softened as the butt he was expecting never came. Baxter nervously flicked a few wind-blown strands of his hair off his face. Frank, I was also afraid to admit something like that aloud in a seaside town. Towers to come to a place of sunset bird is to be here by the ocean, is it not? You got me there. It is worth having a vacation 50 away from something you're scared of. People pay high prices to have all this within walking distance. I doubt many of them are scared of it, but didn't your parents pick Sunset Bird for you? That's correct. Nodding, you find yourself staring at the rise and fall of the waves in the distance. The corner of your mouth pulled up fondly. Even if you're not enthusiastic about the beach as other tourists here, still appreciate the ocean on your own terms, like what we're doing right now. Yes, I'm having a very nice time right here. Though I won't deny the view is lovely. My dream is mostly because of you rather than location. Well, that's still something. And on that note, you both fell into a relaxing bubble of silence, watching the gleaming sight of the ocean from a safe distance. Oh yeah, resembling the Kool-Aid Man, she kicked herself out of the ground with gusto. Sand was flying in all directions, and Terry's shape and print was left behind. Miranda yelled again, Cove chuckled. There probably wasn't a better way to get out of it. You didn't get to join in on burying Terry, but you didn't mind. One time you did get with Baxter was something you wouldn't have missed. You waved cheerily to your friends, and the 5 of you ripped about halfway between the towels and the destroyed tomb. Man, I'm ready to wash this off. She looked down herself and laughed. She tried brushing the wet, mushy sand off, but most of it stubbornly clung on. She succeeded in moving around where it was on her. Hey, Baxter, are you ever going to go for a swim? You're the only one who hasn't jumped in yet. No, don't worry about me. It was never my intention to swim. Please don't let that stop your fun. Yeah, but the same statement he made to you earlier that day. Wait, what? Simply not my preference. Terry squinted and thoroughly scrutinized him. She wasn't satisfied with the sense. Think I get. You're new here. You don't know what to do in the Great White Sea. Just hold on to my back. I'll take you out in the water with me. Well, I greatly appreciate the just our must decline. Are you sure? I can totally handle it. I'm a lifeguard in training. Terry, I thought you hadn't signed up yet. Shh. I will. That's what counts. Yes, thank you. It's just so sad with you, you know? You could have only became friends first place because we're beach people. You could be a beach man too, B-man. Her crestfallen gaze slid to Cove. He nodded understandingly. Paisley Baxter chuckled. I understand where you're coming from, and I'm sorry for any upset it might cause, but please, trust me on this. I'm perfectly fine. May not be much of a seafaring man, but I've gone swimming before. Pools and lakes are no trouble with me. In fact, I guess I've done certain water-based activities that some of you might be too numerous to try. Cove's lips pursed. He raised his chin and stared, not so much threatened by Baxter's accusation, but insulted he would even make such a challenge. Like what? I have a dad whose entire business about water-based activity. I went on a jet ski when I was 8. What could you have done? Baxter straightforwardly answered the question. Skinny dipping. Co's jaw dropped. That's just left him scandalized and the reddest he'd ever seen him. That doesn't count. Say you hadn't done it then. You might want to, especially since you already enjoyed the water. It is rather liberating. Baxter was making an honest recommendation. You could tell it wasn't his intention to come across Cove's lack of experience there. However, Cove was still completely thrown. That suggestion of Baxter was even worse than implying he was more confident in the water than Cove. The silent debate was broken by Miranda's embarrassed attempt to stifle her giggles with the palm of her hand. Her cheeks had gone flushed, and you knew it would be a while until she was confident enough to even dare to make eye contact with Baxter again. Terry, meanwhile, gave Baxter an impressed nod and then instantly lost all composure. Felt a boisterous fit of laughter, holding tightly onto her own stomach. You were amused too. Face-palming, you shook your head in attempt to be disapproving, but the moment you peeked at Baxter, there was no sign of the white grin stretching ear to ear. Of course, he'd been skimming, dipping. Of course, he was dropping that fact without hesitation in front of 4 people he hardly knew. Did I say something wrong? Playful note in his voice told you everything you need to know. Baxter was fully aware and enjoyed the bit of chaos he unleashed on the group. You exhaled deeply and did not comment. None else added anything on top of Baxter's skinny dipping adventures either. Back to the drawing board and what to do next. After a while, the gang mutually decided it would be best to go do something that was not water-based. You continued to have a good time. You went on a shell hunt. Miranda managed to find the biggest. While you found the most colorful, Cove caught a tiny crab. Did a bit of everything. There was impromptu games to just soaking up each other's company. After a while, you had all run out of water, drinkable water anyway. Decided that you had to Cove's house or yours. Things were gathered, and you saw her cheerfully walked up the road. What's next? I don't have anywhere to go, so it could be whatever. Same, I guess we'll keep hanging out. Terry started to readjust her grip on her thighs. Don't sound too sure there, Cove. By this point, you can see your house. Not taking you long to make the trip. The conversation continued with everyone throwing out suggestions. Are people hungry? So from face to face in expression, Cove and Miranda shrugged in concert. Baxter didn't react. No one was overly opposed to it. However, you weren't really starving. It wasn't quite a mealtime. We could get dessert. Miranda put a finger to her lip and thought. Now her voice became more confident. Yeah, that would be fun. Terry considered it and shot Miranda a thumbs up. Sounds great to me. I could definitely go for that. You know, I'm up for more. When the topic dessert was raised, Baxter hummed with interest. This caught everyone's attention. Nothing else had drawn a comment from him in a while. If that is the next event, who would we be willing to try ice cream and similar frozen treats? I like the sound of that, but why? Baxter shook his head ruefully. Truthfully, the one thing I want to do while here is to see an ice cream truck in person. Downtown doesn't have one, and neither is there one around my campus. It's a summer tradition that I have missed. Yuko stared at him blank-faced. Miranda pressed her lips together and shot a glance at her. Expression was like a stone. That was a drop in mood, and I, being goshly tortuously right now, he was entirely off in the guess. Baxter could only watch helplessly as the people around him remained unusually sober. Cove voiced the consensus of the locals. I've never been to an ice cream truck either. What, are you serious? Miranda nodded her head, and Baxter's expression shifted into incredulity. Me neither. Same. That's a never for me as well. There's an ice cream truck in Sunset Bird. We have an ice cream stand on the shopping street. It's not exactly the same, but that's how it is. And sometimes we get ice cream at the park during big events. That was from a cardboard box, though. Still not truck. I've only gone to ice cream parlors and got ice cream from the freezer part of grocery stores. But sometimes my family makes it homemade. Baxter grinned for once on the same ground as new companions. You're probably good ahead of me. I said she'll probably get ahead of me. Hmm? No. Was that something million? She might be getting close to me. And only eating it at restaurants after a meal. Oop. I never realized that ice cream trucks were so rare. Unexpectedly, Cove was the first to agree. Boxer. He narrowed his eyes and spoke firmly. Then yelled, let's find a truck. I gotta do it at least one time. Yeah, Baxter's onto something. We've all been missing out. Terry raised a fist in the air in a dramatic pose. There has to be an ice cream truck somewhere in California. We have a plan. Baxter pardoned Marta, seeing his suggestion receive support. Marta smiled at him. You could only get Saturn first, pressure Baxter. But given how she had relaxed around him, you imagined he was growing on her. He wasn't exceedingly self-assured as he came across at first blush, but it was nicer when Baxter was confident. That's on it's fun. Let's look it up. Marina reached into her bag and dug around for her phone. She pulled out a hair scrunchie, a small notepad with unicorns, and a bundle of chunky keychains. Her phone remained elusive. Just give me a sec. The rest of the group's mouths pulled into attentive, hopeful grins. There's an air of slight disbelief. Cole molded over while tapping his foot. Wherever it is, we're gonna have to drive to get there. I think so. No, none are in town, right? And everywhere else is far away. She finally retrieved her phone and started to search on her Maps app. She tapped her screen with a frown. It's already late afternoon too. I wonder if ice cream trucks are even still going around. I have to believe it's too soon to give up. Cope nodded, patting at his pockets. They're tellingly empty. I'll get my keys. No need, allow me. I have to do this. It's only fair that I'd be the one to cover transportation. Besides, it's rental. We may as well make the most of it while I have it. All right. Cope raised his shoulders in bewildered shock. Baxter ran his fingers through his hair to swipe his bangs, and they fell exactly back into place after. I will return in only a moment. Terry shot him a thumbs up, and Miranda mumbled absentmindedly, focused on her task. Baxter flipped towards his condo and headed off, his strides long and determined. Oh. Covering his voice at Baxter's back. We'll put our stuff away while you're off doing that. Baxter peered over his shoulder and answered, very good. Baxter was soon out of sight, and Cove had gathered up all of his things into a sturdy hole, trusted with his chin to his house. We can use my place for storage. You're on board with that. You shifted your things around so they'd be more comfortable to move. Thanks, Cove. You're so lucky your dad doesn't care about how much sand you're always dragging into the house. My moms are not like that. Yeah, I am lucky. Cove led the group to file into the Holden household. Miranda brought up the rear, stumbling behind Terry. She was being led by the arm while still keeping her eyes on her phone. Sandy towels were dropped in a heap on the living room, one after the other. No one was seen in a second with organization, taking cues from Cope's rush. I need a minute. Gonna grab a shirt. Drive down the hall, steps loud on the hard floor. Straighten out your cover-up, suddenly conscious of what was on your body, after Cope brought up the topic. Cope returned now decent in his Orca t-shirt. Terry hooked her arm around Miranda's and used her other hand to wave towards the door. When you got out, you could see Baxter's shiny black vehicle idling on the street and waiting its passengers. He went for a seat in the back without consideration. He was not going to be in the front. You would. With you going to be the passenger seat, Miranda and Terry followed Cove. Welcome to my car, friends. Do we know where we're going? Miranda nodded slightly and leaned forward to hold her phone. Persistence had bared fruit. There's some suburbs surrounding the city where ice cream trucks have routes during the summer. Can't tell exactly where they're going to be when we get there, though. That is more than enough. Two conferred on directions till Baxter decided to route towards a random neighborhood street in the area as a starting point. He took off the car, gliding across the road, minimum vibration affecting the cabin. Affecting the cabin. In the heat of the excitement, Terry reached up from the middle seat and punched on the music. Connected to Baxter's song list, and your eardrums were struck by a pounding of regular drum. A guitar riff streak out after it was a punk metal track. He leaned back in your seat and was satisfied. This was your kind of music, who knew it was his. As the drive continued, the music brought an almost surreal feel to the trip.
The shouting guitar and shadow lyrics were a weird contrast to your goal of finding an ice cream truck. It inserted the humorous mental picture of an ice cream truck playing screaming punk metal set of twinkling tunes to summon children for icy treats. Zipping through the length of Sunset Bird in no time, he flew past the now leaving sign. Past that, the car zoomed down the open road while Miranda attempted to dig up more details on the elusive ice cream trucks. Do they have socials? Maybe someone tagged them in a pic or they're live tweeting. Why would an ice cream truck be on Twitter? And I can't even find out their hours for sure. I believe in you. Minutes add up, as did the miles. The city got closer, but the shadows closed in faster. Strangling from behind distant skyscrapers, calling it late afternoon was being generous. Have a good night. Unexpected began to form. The odds of an ice cream truck being active dropped with every passing second, but Miranda continued the search and Baxter kept driving. As Flaney turned off the highway and followed the streets into the heart of the suburbs, he rode through neighborhoods aimlessly until. Yeah! Miranda beamed and showed her phone up to the front. You found one? There's a truck that's still open nearby. It was on Facebook. I think if we go down the route, we'll find it at some point. Amazing. Yeah, who uses Facebook? People who want ice cream, let's go. Please, Dr. Man, can't read the post. First, take a look at the next stop sign. Baxter clicked off the music to focus on Miranda's words. He also opened his window. Terry and Co followed Baxter's lead, but Terry could get farther, pushed right out the window as far as the seatbelt would let her, hands cupped around her ears. Co leaned farther out when he saw anything even kind of a truck shape. Everyone had their ears and eyes wide open for any signs. If an ice cream truck was somewhere in the area, they weren't going to miss it. You opened yours too. Took a second to locate the correct button on the door. It was as sleek and unobtrusive as the rest of the machine. That made it tricky to see when you didn't know where to look. Press it down till the glass beside you completely disappeared. At your slow pace, the wind coming through whipped at your hair gently, whistling much less nicely. A fine dust blew in from the street. You squinted against the dirt in the sun. It had sunk low enough to be perpendicular with your eye-line. Still no trucks to be seen. The houses you passed seemed older, probably built decades ago. Some had colorful lawn decorations and well-kept flower gardens. Others were nothing but green grass. Conversation stopped entirely once Miranda had told Baxter all he needed to know. Drove through the residential streets like a hunter on a prowl. The target could have been anywhere. He turned a corner, faint laughter filtered in through the windows. Hear birds chirping and rustling leaves, but in that moment, none of that mattered. That's not what you needed. Fingers were crossed and breaths were held. Baxter turned yet again, towards the signs of life, and a new sound gradually floated in from the distance. You concentrated on the high-pitched, jingling tune. Was it? It had to be. It was the music call of an ice cream truck. Nobody could see it yet, despite there being watchers on all sides, but the song got louder. Baxter followed it persistently, his fingers tightening their grip on the wheel. That jingle was the Pied Piper, and everyone was drawn in by it. The car came up to a crossroads and stopped. That instant, a clamor filled the car. Everyone in the Evermax Baxter cheered or gasped and sang. An ice cream truck drove right by in front of your very eyes. It was technically white, but covered with so many brightly colored pictures, the original paint was more of an accent. Stickers with warning, such as "Go slow and watch for children," stood out at night. And rectangle characters and edible versions were in the grid, leaving them as a 1 or C3 for convenient ordering. It was like a moving treasure chest of frozen goodness, and the temptation was too strong for some. So in the middle of the intersection, Cove's door popped open, seatbelt zipped up against the cushion with nothing left to protect. Cove was gone. Wait for Baxter. Terry and Miranda went after Cove. Terry, with her usual exuberance, yelled, "Oh yeah!" I appreciate their enthusiasm. He glanced at you, not taking the turn just yet. Are you going? No, thanks. You're very polite. You didn't think it was much. You weren't so impatient that you'd throw yourself out on the street. Ben, the one who drove you there. The rest of them could handle that. Kojak jogged after the truck. Terry cheered and waved, trying to catch the driver's attention. Miranda skipped behind her, moving her arms in wide motions. The truck lurched to a stop. They've done it. Excellent. Excitement was playing on his face, but Baxter cautiously turned to where the truck and your friends had gone. Right on the opposite side and opposite end of the empty street. Baxter grinned as he finally unbuckled. shall we? You know, after all the trouble we went through together, I'll have to think about that one. Baxter snorted and clapped a hand over his mouth. Okay, time to get that ice cream. He let the properly stopped vehicle and crossed the street together. The other three huddled around the large menu pasted on the broad side of the truck. As he joined the group, you could feel the anticipation of the kid on their birthday, except it was somehow everyone's birthday at the same time. Up close, you could see the images were faded. They weren't as vibrant as they should have been, and chips of paint were flaking off. If anything, the wear and tear increased the charm. It was real, and it was just what you'd imagine. You're finally experiencing a quintessential summer ritual. The order window lifted, and the driver gave a hearty greeting. Good evening. Good evening to you. Hi. Hey. Hello. Hi. Thanks for stopping for us. Sorry for chasing you. No. Thanks for stopping by. Can I get you something? Absolutely. He beamed with victory. Cat got his scream. Then he gave his first check over the option to shrug. Remember, we do require a moment. Of course, no problem. Take your time. That started the great ice cream discussion. Ice cream was seriously business and took consideration. Ryan was firmly in the camp of actual ice cream options, making the valid point that you come for ice cream. Terry was convinced, neither was Cove. Getting ice cream honestly didn't mean you actually had to get ice cream. Anything from the truck counted. Hold on. Holy crap. Okay. Again, thinking to count it. Debate ended with no agreed on winner. Everyone just got what they wanted. Again, I like a coconut popsicle. Sure, let me get that for you. She reached over into the freezer and pulled out the first of the treats. She handed it off to Cove and passed her some cash. I'll find those snow cones. Hey, can I have a chocolate dipped ice cream cone, please? The D4? They both received their treats, paid, and stepped away to clear the way. Signed order. Strawberry cream popsicle. Always like that kind of thing. Baxter, meanwhile, had yet to finish staring at the menu with intense scrutiny. His eyes went over the rows of advertised frosty desserts, long after everyone else already had theirs. It was getting awkward, especially for the lady in the truck who would be stuck there until he finally got around to ordering something. Then he tried to break the ice, or ice cream, and cracked a joke. Get the ice cream sundae cup. The ice cream is totally white, and the chocolate sauce looks almost black. Which found that to be a side splitter, but it didn't even make a dent in Baxter's reverie. The world around him was lost to the palace of his mind. Baxter? Sooner or extra new sergeant was needed. Terry struck a hand right in front of his face, cutting him off from the pictures, taking out his attention. He blinked, and the spell of those tantalizing treats were broken. I'm sorry, is something the matter? That's what I wanted to ask. You've been quiet for a while. Yes, I have been. Baxter put a hand to his chin, popped his hip out to the one side. Focus that had been so silent on the truck was now set upon the rest of you. The pose on his already eccentric stag, Baxter looked like a side character of the cartoony mystery game. One who was definitely not the criminal, but still needed to be cross-examined for important details. Thank you for the hydrate, boys. My problem is this. I'm unsure if I should get a dessert that's to my usual taste. If I do, I'd be certain to enjoy what comes from the ice cream truck. That'd be nice. On the other hand, this may happen only once. Perhaps it'd be more rewarding to get something new. An option that would be challenging to find in a common store, which will add more to the experience. Indulgence for novelty. I want to make the right choice. Get whatever you want, and then you can try what I got too. As long as we don't get the same things, we'll be able to sample 2 different treats. Well, I can't reject such generosity. In that case, my decision is made. Yay! Success! Baxter approached the truck, turning and leaned against the counter. Spoke briefly to the patient ice cream lady, then money was exchanged. Turney got his prize. The coveted ice cream truck treat was finally in his hand. Baxter explained the method of decision making, but what that actually meant was a mystery. Not up for curious onlookers. In his group was a damp wrapper that bullies said wet laid underneath. A creamy popsicle made it look like a cute girl with bubblegum pieces in the eyes. She was a character from an ever popular cartoon show, a sweet thing colored mostly by blues and yellows, and overall wildly out of place for a man like Baxter Work to possess. Holy shit, I almost fell on my chair. Baxter was living on the edge that evening. Cove snorted a laugh. Terry applauded. Give me one moment. So, boys, are you ready to hear this? I leveled up like 2 times in my own little thing. In my own, yeah. I was level 186. I'm now 188. Alright. Cove started off. Terry applauded. Oh yeah, you can't get that at a grocery store. Or at a restaurant. It'd be really hard to make yourself. You done good, Baxter. Entirely straightforward, Baxter made his intention known. This will be the first and last time I can see a small girl's face, ideally. Novelty indeed. After one more thanks to your crowd. Ice cream sales lady shut the side window. Then the truck slowly began to move. Your friend shouted and waved in your grand farewells, wishing her well on her journey, bringing treats to young and old. She beat the horn a couple times in a chair of her own. The truck eventually disappeared beneath the skylight, and you, along with others, ambled across and up the road towards Baxter's car with treats in hand. Miranda and Terry giggled about something you couldn't quite catch. But it became apparent the minute they exchanged cones and took a lick each. Actually, using the word lick might have been generous. Terry! A peek at Miranda's half-eaten ice cream and the vanilla and chocolate smeared all over Terry's mouth said all that she needed to be said about the situation. Terry pitched forward, clutching her head to the cone, nearly hurtling it to the ground. She pressed into her temples with both hands. Oh. Karmic justice. Brain Frieza. How tragic, she was so young. He wiped a non-existent tear he didn't shed for Terry. He looked wistfully to the sky as he dropped the hand over his heart. Oh well. It put him in the ribs, and he went staggering off, clutching the most grievous wound. Then Cove pinched the edge of his popsicle stick, breathing like accusatory figure in Terry's direction before taking a bite off the top. The regret was immediate on his face the minute he crunched down on it. He sipped it into a Cove-sicle. Luckily, both Cove and Terry made full recoveries after a minute. Thank you for the reset. Cove bumped his shoulder into yours. He was careful he didn't send you flying. Hey yourself. He was the one who approached you, yet his eyes didn't meet yours, and said they were sharply focused on the dessert clasped in your hand. The eyes finally met yours in a single fluid motion. The look was pleading. Cove was never good at hiding what he wanted. Then again, he never really made a point of trying to be. So often you need to voice the intention, the desperation, but it still did. We're gonna share, right? Offered. You have some mine, I want to try yours too. Cove recently exchanged his treat for yours, exactly as he expected it to. Something fruity and milky, but not cow's milk exactly, more like coconut milk. The others continued chatting as he clocked that there was a notable absent figure from the party. It was your fifth and newest addition to the group, who also happened to be the one who drove you guys here and made the plan in the first place. Baxter. Your eyes followed the retreating back to Miranda and Terry, then to Cove. Terry started to outpace you the minute to relax. He attempted to see if Baxter had gone even further ahead. There are no signs of a monochromatic color scheme you've gotten so good at spotting. A little chuckle from behind gave away the ghost. It's so much chill as always, but it was even more fitting considering the theme of the moment. Frozen delights. I wonder what it is that you're searching for, Beanie. Felt bad not noticing that he'd been quiet since you gave your well wishes and sent the truck off on his way. Imagine he would have fit himself into the conversation without much issue, but he hadn't. Instead, he hung out at the very end of the crowd, expecting his dessert with the gravity of a man who had been face to face with the source of a deep root of fear only hours ago. He slowed his step together and waved on the others when they checked on you. Baxter's walk turned into a brief jog, aware that you were waiting and not wanting to keep you. It wasn't long before he came up from behind. Fell to a step beside him, the two of you silent as he passed a wondering glance in your direction. When did you plan on coming to try mine? That was the plan. Yes, that's right. Wonder turned to relief once you made it clear you hadn't forgotten the promise. Really trying to wait my turn. How polite. Correct? Correct. How polite. I had an open palm out, waiting for the. Oh no. Uh-oh. Sorry. Baxter had an open palm out, waiting for the. Proffered? Crawford? Give me one moment. Hi, Nibble. Hold on. Proffer, that's how you say that. Proffered. Treat to be handed over. Are you sick, Nibble? Because trust me, if I could hex all the germs, I would. Mm. See you, zombie. Get some good sleep. Risa says hi, zombie, and bye. Yeah, Crow didn't waste any time playing RE9. He instantly was like, I see it, I'm playing it. Oh, the newest one. RE9. Crow probably did get you sick. Just so you wouldn't be able to finish it. That sounds like him. No, I need to check something. Realization has hit me. I don't have RE6. Ooh. We'll get to that page when we cross it. The 150 redeem? Isn't that? Oh. That is a, that's a friend's name on Twitch. At the time that I made that, Risa was in VC with me, and, Risa doesn't like part of it. The, like, so she never wanted to say it, and she's just like, the only way that Beanie will say it is with that redeem. And I was like, yeah, sure, why not? Do you need to go out Sunday? Give me one moment. I gotta let Doug go out. I'll also need to give you a Give me one moment. move it closer, didn't pick up the dessert. Instead, Baxter held your wrist, keeping the strawberry cream popsicle steady, and leaned in and tried it from you directly. Fingers were long and delicate, and they were cold. Thank you. The reaction grinned deviously as he retreated to the respectable distance again. Even though he'd let go, it still felt tingly where his touch had been. Would you care to try mine? It is intriguing. Well, I mean, if you're offering, Baxter had out the popsicle to you for your appraisal. It was flavored faintly by freezer burn and bubblegum. That was the conclusion you drew after getting a good lick to the back of this popsicle, but it didn't really taste of anything. At least not with any certainty. Baxter watched quietly, still holding out an angle for you to have another try if you wished. And that worked for you. Another sample was to be taken so you could check if your initial impressions were off. Notes were it tasted the same, better, maybe, perhaps the third try give you a resolution. The look on your face must have said it all, because he shrugged before dipping the treat in your line of sight again. The possibility that he may never get it back was starting to grow. I should have brought two. It's fine, I'm done. Accepting as it was, you did refrain from further test taking. Maybe there were some mysteries in the world that couldn't be solved. Hey, buddies. Jerry waved her snow cone on high as she called out to both of you. When did the others get to the car? Alright, we're coming. Caught her before you and Baxter took off up the street. Jerry pointed her partially melted snow cone towards Baxter as soon as they came close enough. I want to try yours too. Mine's a little slushy now. That's half the appeal. He gave his cartoon face popsicle terror, taking the paper cone in exchange. And for reference, what is the other half? Turns your tongue blue. Didn't you get a cherry? Yep. Are you sure you didn't get the wrong one? I'm not sure about anything in this life. After they each got a chance to try the other's dessert, Baxter and Cherry swapped again. Then Baxter leaned against his car hood while everyone else happily situated themselves around the area. Brandy and Cherry took seats on the sidewalk curb, Haley debating the possibility of blue cherry being a real flavor. Cherry had a faint argument considering raspberries weren't blue, and yet blue raspberries did exist for some reason. Coop over nearby, crouching himself on the summer-warmed asphalt. He stretched and strained, trying to lick a stream of melted coconut popsicle running down his arm. Wait, what's going on? It's give me one moment, stream. Ayo. Yeah. That's yeah. Yeah. No, thank you. You remember you can't lick your elbow, right? You never could. During your well-intentioned warning, he pressed on, face squished against his forearm, tongue angling to try anyway. I can do it. It's personal now. The limits of the human body were a pain, but it was still pretty funny to watch him try to fight against it. With an absence of the ice cream truck's music and the thrill that came with that, The street seemed entirely different. Houses quietly lined the street, and you now heard the rush of the wind. Bridges swayed overhead in the breeze, and leaves rustled. It didn't carry the comforting smell of sea salt. So here we are. Terry hardly licked the side of her snow cone. She leaned on her fists. The arm popped up on her raised knee. Her tongue was extremely blue now. Far away from where we belong and who knows where, camped out in front of some random suburban person's house. Miranda tilted her head back to look up at the mailbox mounted to the concrete. Rocking to one side, she craned her head to get a read of what number was on the side of it. Thank you to the fine people of 231, whatever the street is. Thanks, people, 231, whatever street. Right, and thanks for driving us all the way out here, Bex. Can I call you Bex? Before you can answer, Tori sucked in a bit of air and waved it off. No, that's not right. I'll work on it. Faster chuckle, taking another look at his popsicle. There's no need to thank me. It was exactly what I had wanted to do. Totally worth it. Yeah, for sure. Definitely. Absolutely. The sky grew pinker and yellower, and you knew the day was going to come to a close. Somehow felt wrong. It had gone too fast to be over. Though summer never seemed long enough those days. These days. Those days. As you were about to voice that thought, you heard the dim sound of something gurgling that immediately replaced the words that came out. Give me one moment. I have to pee.
Nice. Nice flashbang. Holy shit. Come on, hit the gen. Hit the gen.
I still can't believe the duck got me killed earlier.
I am not surprised.
I wanted to say fuck the duck so bad, but then your mom was here, so don't.
Because my mom was here, you didn't say it.
There were so many things that I had to refrain from saying.
I was being respectful.
Yes, we
Mama
were
Beans
being
deserves respect.
very good, and now she's not here. All bets are off.
No. No! They get away. It's a fucking little kid. No. No. That's gonna haunt me.
Okay, we have to kiss faces right here. We have to kiss faces, okay?
Oh my fuck! You. I hate that. I forgot I was in the fucking voice channel. That was so.
What do you need?
Everyone has at some point, haven't they? But I don't think I'll be taking an arrow in the knee. My upbringing, being a good husband, raising a family.
Fuck! My hands are getting sweaty!
Why you do this for me?
My hands got. Mad Dog says hi.
Hi. Oh yeah, Mad Dog is human too. Not human too. I forgot about Mad Dog. Oops. Sorry. I keep forgetting about people.
Also, Alex says, bro, I don't even get mentioned.
What is it?
Alex,
Oh yeah, person meaning like.
I fucking hate you. I hope you know that, you little shit.
What? That's all I know him as. That's what do you want from me?
Did anyone else hear that? The road again? I kid you not, I thought that was actually someone. Am I going this way or am I going up? This way. Wait. What? What? So going this way. On the road again. I saw the steps. On this way. I am so done with this song. But I'm still on the road again. Because this is so annoying. Ice race! I hate ice race. I am a freaking archer here, people. Versus ice race. Stupid ice race. Can't even break the ice. On the road again. Can walk on it though.
Hi.
No!
Gotta talk about it.
I'll go see myself to a corner. No, don't you fucking dickwad. I'm sorry, what? There's a dog Mac? There's a dog Mac? There's a dog Mac on board, people. I'm gonna have fun with that. Probably smells. Drink up at the essence of the force. Permeate your body. Always making me blush, bro. Gee. I will be taking a moment and
I was stabbing you across the face.
I dare.
I thought this was next week.
Y'all hang on long enough. Oh my god!
Fucking go,
Hold
Biddy!
on, hold on.
Fucking choke. Choke me harder, Daddy.
I didn't get a chance to get back to the locker. So technically, like, murder's legal?
He instantly said, "Are you gonna go murder Crow?" I was like,
You probably are.
I don't say that when I murder him that much. But
It's usually like in Dead by Daylight or something else. You know what I mean?
see, that's understandable though. He annoys the shit out
He's
of me in Dead
murdering
by
us.
Daylight. Yeah.
Well, sometimes he's murdering us.
I need Pierre, Gus, and then
What?
to go see Sandy.
Man, you really.
Alright, where's the drop off?
Oh, you did say you dropped down.
Oh my god, what the Fuck, ghost. Fuck ass pussy ass motherfucking damn. Fuck bitch ass motherfucking damn. Bitch. Is a walking.
All I need is a claw hammer. Oh no, I have one.
Healing. 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 I don't need anyone to teach me how to prioritize. I know how to prioritize. It's just that at the moment, food was more important to me than anything else, okay? Which, as I am thinking back, sounds a really big bad right now. It sounds really bad.
Rock again.
Well,
I don't think that thing's ever gonna work. Oh, it's over there.
yeah,
Well, if you are
can't
the
be
last
beat,
person,
but
you have a
only I
chance.
can.
Ah! He's definitely on me. Good luck, Bean. I think this is where I die.
He's been wanting to do that to get that.
He got. Oh, it's not dead center. It's in the center, but it's not dead center.
Oh my god. Hold on. I need a Shadow. I need you to clip.
Oof.
Shh. Okay, I'm coming. I'm coming. I got you.
Two were on the same Jenny. Thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's out there,
Okay.
but it's not dead center.
I see you.
I wouldn't go
see
back.
it.
I hope you know how much Beanie hates whoever did this to her.
It's voiced out when you're my best friend. You are all we must defend. Come on, get your
Beanie needs help.
Teach me. I'll teach you. Okay.
Beanie, scared walking through a dark school singing Pokemon song is now at the top of my list of the best things in the world.
Goddamn fucking damn bitch. Fucking doing shit.
If it's like the red eye one or whatever, the mean looking face, you can always tell it's good. Oh, I see him. He's up on the roof. He's. That's Fox.
There's
I
no
see.
fucking way.
I want to alt F4. No lie.
Hippity hoppity, your thighs are now crow's property.
I don't know what else to do.
Okay.
Okay.
Which I think you're going to be the only person. Yeah. Since I'm done this, I'll be back on Minecraft. Yeah. Too many people joining. As you were about to voice that thought, you heard the dim sound of something gurgling that immediately placed the words that came out. Hey, did you guys hear that? I did. Yeah, what was it? Neither of the boys replied to the question except for shakes of the head and shrugs in the negative. There was no time for follow-up questions because the answer came in the form of a water bubble, then shot up in a graceful arcs all around. Droplets sputter onto paved driveways and were coming towards the sidewalk next. Sprinklers! Randy made a break for it, dashing into the street with the speed of an Olympian sprinter. Randy, wait up! Terry leapt onto her feet. Her shoes hit the concrete with wet slaps, while Baxter earnestly searched for cover himself from the surprise spray. Meandering away without any urgency, he responded with remarkable poise about the whole thing, unbothered by the fact he gotten wet today after all. Baxter even had time to finish the last bit of his cartoon-faced popsicle. Again, sure, you'd gotten a little wet, but water was water, and you're hardly a stranger to it. He used to run through sprinklers as a kid. It would dry pretty quick. But Cove didn't so much as flinch. He only stood to his full height with his back to the car, a popsicle stick prodding out of his mouth. He glanced over at the others and grinned as he withdrew his stick clean. How about this water-based activity? We're all still in swimsuits. Oh well, isn't that an interesting proposition? The challenge had been issued and Baxter threw down the gauntlet. He held his own popsicle stick between his teeth, tossing his shirt off into the street, the grace of someone who'd definitely done that before. His eyes popped open with shock, but he didn't allow the surprise to keep him from moving. Dart off to the lawns as Baxter came sprinting from behind. It looked more like Cove was running away from him rather than into the sprinklers. My snow cone! Terry complained, sticking the paper cone higher in the air. She stayed well and good away from the sprinkler spray. It'll melt. Terry had wetted on, but that wasn't going to protect her snow cone by a long shot. Oh, come on, Terry, live a little. The fact that Miranda had led the charge for cover, she was easily convinced to jump into the fray. Skipping to the sidewalk with her ice cream in tow, she waved the two boys down to stop and wait for her. Terry sidled up to her side, clenching her honestly already melted dessert. Ice kept going between her much-beloved treat and the sparkling sprinklers, but she seemed to have chosen to preserve the sanctity of the snow cone instead. You guys go on ahead. Here I come. Everyone was laughing now, and you stay nice and dry, Terry. For everyone else, those sprinkles were yours. Everyone was laughing now. Betty did get soaked in the middle of nowhere, and abandoning Terry in her time of need seemed heartless. Terry smiled at you gratefully and lightly bumped her shoulder into yours. We'll support you from here, buds. It might not have been a priority for you to go running through the sprinklers with everyone else, but Terry did say you guys were going to support them from the sidelines. Cheer them on as they ran through the sprinklers. You applauded their antics. You provide live sports commentary with Terry. How did they do it during those golf tournaments Liz used to force the entire family to watch? Stretching a finger to your ear, you leaned over Terry conspiratorially. We're coming at you live from whatever street, wherever it appears three of our best athletes are attempting the sprinkler vault. She stared back to blink, for the realization finally struck her. Right. Mimicking you, she slapped a hand over the side of her head, spoke into her snow cone / microphone.
I'd say at first run, Cove Hunt is starting strong with a slide across the grass. Oh, but he shifted his weight from his foot to his ankle. It'll be hard to recover from. But let's see if he can stick this landing. Cove managed to balance himself before he ended up crash landing into the ground. Terry whooped as he stuck your arm up to mimic a football goalpost. It's good. What a champ. While you were talking to Terry about how much longer those sprinklers were going to go already, you heard Rainy cry out in surprise. She was covering her mouth and held what remaining of her crumbling sugar cone. The ice cream had fallen and bent into the grass. It was one thing to have damp ice cream, but it was another if it fell to the ground altogether. Everyone stopped, except for the sprinklers on their back and forth paths in Terry Brook. Terry was gone from your sight before you even blinked. She dashed straight towards Randy like someone on a life or death mission, slid across the grass until she could get a leg up. On one knee, she lifted her snow cone, which wasn't much of a snow cone at this point, up in the offering. Randy, will you do me the great honor? Oh. Brenda lit up brighter than any star. Giggling, she wiped the last streaks of ice cream from her fingers, took off her snow cone, dark hair falling forward as she smiled softly at Terry. Terry bounced up from the ground, dusting off what grass had adhered itself to her legs. No, it's just ice cream. I would have survived. Terry was aghast, her hand on her clavicle before she reached out for the snow cone. All right, I'm taking it back then. Nope, you already gave it to me. Cole's eyes met yours as he turned the direction of the boys, and he smiled. Trying to say that he didn't know what to do either. They were already invested in a new game of Keep Away until Cove stole it right out from their hands, only to be immediately dogpiled by Bo. Turned to search for Baxter to see if he was going to join the fray, but he was distracted. His attention was squarely fixed on Miranda and Terry, watching as they argue about whose snow cone it was and if Cove really had a stake in the matter. I see. He hummed, striking his chin with consideration before her brown eyes met yours. The thoughtful expression gave way to a lax smile. He took a gesturing to them as he gave you a look to ask if this was typical, in answer to which you ringly provided a big thumbs up. Clean job is still a correct option. Hey, nice job. For Randy, anything. Terry beamed in reply, elbowing Cove in the ribs, with the sudden hiss of another sprinkler rising from its earthly tone, reminded her of where they were. Randy shotgunned the rest of Terry's snow cone. The champion was born. Terry spun by crushing the paper cone against her fork. To Maria's light, though, she did get some of the syrup in her eye. And it wasn't long before that interlude was forgotten. Dashing and leaping resumed in earnest. But all good things must come to an end. Eventually, the sprinklers retreated into the ground, and all that remained of the celebration was 4 dripping young adults. Boo, I was just getting started. It should have gone longer. Honestly, I think it went on for a really long time being a bunch of sprinklers. Some was situated almost perfectly halfway below the horizon. Probably about time to call it quits for the day. Imagine the rest were thinking the same when another breeze swept by and caught on the now stoked group. Not just Terry and Miranda immediately found each other again, the girls clung desperately to each other for warmth. Cove tugged on the hem of his shirt, pinching it away from his body before allowing it to fall back with a wet slap. She had taken this off before I went in. Promptly rectified that and took off his shirt. Cheeks pinking with embarrassment when the girls took a breath break from being cold to whistle at him. Guys, I wasn't wearing this at the beach. It's not different now. Cove wrung the water out of it before swinging the shirt over his shoulder instead of pulling it back on again. For anyone says anything is going to be cold and wearing that, they're not wearing it. I do regret that we did not bring our towels. He ambled into the road to pick up his linen shirt. Back to them, returned to his car's side, as did the entire gang. I must confess, I don't find it nearly as cold as you all seem to. Would any of you care to use this? His eyes met yours, Baxter offered his shirt up by its collar. Beanie is. A little bit, yeah. Thank you, what a jump. You draped his shirt over your shoulders like a blanket. It didn't fit quite right. The fabric was thin. Even his swimsuit cover-up was more style over substance. But when you pinched the front of it closed, it kept the wind out better, and that was enough. It wasn't immediately obviously a burst between the earthly smell of white grass and damp asphalt, which bred a sign of something heaty and floral. It definitely wasn't you, and it sure wasn't this neighborhood or Cove or the girls either. The thought was nearly put aside until you burrowed deeper in his shirt. To draw up that warmth, you could. But warmth you could. Don't you realize it was probably Baxter's club? The side Terry and Miranda remained linked. The knees were practically knocking into each other. You could pry them apart with a crowbar if you tried. They had to be effective. Let's go, Baxter. Didn't seem affronted by the suggestion, but he did still look skeptical enough to make you doubt your own suggestions. You're aware that you're presently dry, right? And I'm not. I know, that's the point. Backed off, he threw up his hands, relenting as he shifted for you to come closer. He made your way over without further fanfare, and he pulled you into a tight hug, despite the water on him. He lied, he was warmer than you would have expected any of the others to be. But you couldn't exactly pretend that the goosebumps up and down his arms weren't there either. You rested your arms comfortably around his waist. You could doubly confirm that the rich scent was his cologne, but you couldn't tell what the smell was exactly. It smelled pleasant, though, and you only noticed it more once you started to think about it. Could have been your own Revere. You didn't notice when he leaned in closer, his lips at your ear. Thoughtfulness is appreciated, Beanie, and so is your body heat. You don't need to thank me for anything. It was that the sudden call from Cove that made you remember exactly where you were. You looked from Baxter's shoulder. From over Baxter's shoulder, Cove glanced away as he awkwardly scratched his cheek. Wow, get a room. Baxter just rumbled in a low laugh, nodding in agreement as he released you from his brace. He did, however, allow his arms settled comfortably around your shoulders. Baxter then gave the group a once-over. Miranda and Terry were still chattering their teeth. Cove, in spite of his claims to the contrary, wasn't doing too hot either. It would be no trouble if we were to return now. I truly don't mind if the car gets wet. Randy and Terry vehemently and loudly disagree with the suggestion. It's a rental. They'll probably charge you if we truck all this water in. Not exactly. We can at least wait until we're not dripping everywhere anymore, right? Even if we're not all the way dry? Glance at the car, then to the others. Baxter already started reaching door handle when they disagreed. He allowed his hand to fall to his side. Suppose it would be tragic to ruin leather upholstery. Thank you. It is kind of you to be considerate. I am certain my acquaintance will appreciate it. Well, acquaintance. To Miranda, then over to you. We met equally confused shrugged from her and a knowing chuckle by him. Cole shook his head until water started flying from his hair, splattered against the side of the car, already wet from the sprinklers earlier. Hey, Cove! It's fine, Baxter. Then we can stay a while longer. Absolutely. Staying longer didn't mean staying still, though. You and the others walked down the sidewalk, sandals and shoes squelching with the residual wetness as you made your way throughout the neighborhood. Neighborhood, but not your neighborhood. It's weird that it doesn't smell like the ocean. Kozo crinkled as your head perked up. He smiled as if to confirm you two had been on the same page the minute he even mentioned it. But instead of long clippings rather relaxing, personally. Oh, okay. Your right effect continued to meander past the street sign, and Terry narrowly managed to avoid getting her shoe stuck in a gap in the concrete. You know something? I know a lot of somethings. Ran off her cheekly, grinning from ear to ear as she looked in your direction. Good work, Randy, but I don't know how we got from the beach to here. The very important quest for ice cream, remember? She swatted Baxter in the side with her free arm. He rubbed at the place, and he wondered if it actually hurt him or if it was for the dramatics. Hey, you can add sprinkler running in your list of water-based summer activities since we're talking about your past water exploits. Go already tensed up before Terry even asked her question. How'd you end up skinny dipping anyways? Bill dropped his face in his hands, shaking in disbelief while Miranda snarled a quiet, oh my gosh. It was tempting to point out that Cove was the one who brought up water-based activities to get Baxter sprinkler running in the first place, but you resisted the urge. Impressive. What, aren't you guys curious? I'm just asking what we're all thinking. The people want to know. I'm the people. It wouldn't have been obvious he responded at all if it wasn't for the slight pressure against your shoulder. Matt gave a half shrug with his free arm. It's not nearly as intriguing as you might imagine. I believe it was about 3 years ago. Fishing out of Lake Kevin and was there by those in my company. A dare. A tale as old as time. I believe it was around midnight and the water was freezing. It did make for a memorable trip. As I said, it wasn't a particularly remarkable story. When you heard the sparse details, it was easy to believe. That seemed exactly like the kind of thing that Baxter would do. Maybe accommodating, but the minute that Cove challenged him to something, it was on. Here, Mark. What was today's adventure? I wager it is not every day that I am able to go running through sprinklers or chase an ice cream truck across the city. Tonight. Much this delightful company. Oh, you. Terry let one hand dangle daintily, her opposite almost covering her mouth as she acted like one of the many old ladies you could find around Sunset Park. Baxter didn't reply, gaze now fixated on the sidewalk in front of him as you all continued ahead, one square of concrete after another. Naturally, remind me, I am not nearly as old as I might sound. He grazed the back of his neck with his hand, letting it there. Then he stared up at the sky, and it was clear he wasn't staring at the clouds. He was reaching for something past it that wasn't there anymore. I think the last time I've done anything of this nature was when I was a child, running around with my old friends and causing havoc to our poor and suspecting town. Glad you suggested it. Humped comfortably, allowing the conversation to lapse into silence. Twilight struggle continued until the sky turned dark. Street lamps flickered on. Even as the night fell, you thought there might still be a chance to cling to the thread of this day. It was sufficiently dried enough, anyway, to not consider yourselves liabilities. The vehicle came to view, Cove mumble, stay outside in swimsuits until it's nighttime getting ice cream. Really is like we're kids again. Not just like being kids, but kids on a vacation. Well, Baxter's on vacation, but it's like someone's birthday or the 4th of July. Relax. Baxter dropped his keystone when Terry suddenly screamed. Oh, sorry. He wiped off the apology, kneeled down, and picked them up. That was the second time his attempts to open the car had been interrupted. Perhaps the third time would be the charm. Oh, what was that about? We can't go home yet. I just remembered there were fireworks today. Cove and Miranda looked at one another before they turned their scrutiny onto Terry. For what? I think it's to celebrate an opening or something. We probably can't get into the real event, but we could see it with our eyes for free. She made 2 circles with her hand, holding them up for the aforementioned eyes as she advanced closer to Cove, who slightly pushed her back with a hand. They can't stop the public from seeing explosives in the sky. Really? Another last-minute rush trip? Cove considered the suggestion, but ultimately shook his head no. But we're ready to head home. Oh, come on, Cove, don't be a wet blanket. Faye wrote him off. Likely where the Cove could not help being wet. Turning to face you, Miranda and Baxter, the 3 that stood in the way of her night continuing for an hour or 2 more. What about you, Beanie? Randy? Baxter? Want to see some fireworks? Jerry continued on without waiting for an answer. Isn't today all about summer experiences? What's more summer than fireworks? It's fireworks. We gotta go. I guess there are fireworks, right? Alright, whatever. What's one more scene change? I knew this was a good idea. In turn, 4 sets of eyes looked to Baxter. Driver has answer made or break the plan. Go softly. And for a penny and for a pound, I'll go. Generally, there's nothing better to occupy my time tonight. You better hurry or you might miss it. Covered his eyes but laughed. There's no time to lose. Fireworks sure start soon. You didn't want to miss any part of it? That meant you need to book it now. The gang hurried into the car and were slowly blessed with warmth. Direct turn on the heater and it began to kick in. Terry wiggled under her seat, proudly announcing that she had the additional gift of seat warmers to the envy of everyone in the car. However, the goal wasn't to sit there, enjoying modern accommodations, to get back out of the car as quickly as possible. She got to get out of the winding streets of the neighborhood. But eventually, Baxter reached the freeway and zipped straight to the city. For a second time that day, you were met with the silhouettes of skyscrapers in the near distance, but now they were illuminated by explosive bursts of greens and purples. It's starting. Oh no, we're gonna miss it? Her hand rested on the gear shift, digits curling against the handle before he switched into the right lane to exit off the freeway. Wait, the GPS said? No, there's somewhere outside the city that I intend to visit. I believe we can stop by there and catch the show. It's an unblocked viewing area. Baxter, you are brilliant! Pedal to the metal unless you're already speeding, then don't go any faster. Cove and he turned towards Miranda, but she was hardly paying attention. Her hands covering her cheeks, she cheered Baxter on while simultaneously advocating for traffic safety. Baxter tightened his grip on the wheel, changing a few more lanes before he exited and threaded through another tangle of local streets. Eventually, the car rumbled to a stop as a waterside path appeared in the dark. Everyone piled out, one after the other, sprinting from the parking lot. Cove, Miranda, and Terry scrambled up the edge of the path at the water's edge. Baxter stayed in the middle between the start and the end, folding his arms as he hovered behind the crew. His eyes were less fixated on the sights, unfolding for you than they were focused on the other 3. High in the sky and far away, it was the perfect way to watch fireworks. Less crowded than it would have been in the city, and quieter than it would have been there too. It was kind of funny. You and your group lived in or around the city almost all your lives, and it was Baxter who found this place for you to enjoy. Tourists tend to put in the effort to find scenic spots. People who could theoretically see something every day didn't always take the opportunities around them. Oh. Randy put out a glowing firework and beamed. Oh, that's so cool. Terry held up a hand for a high five. Miranda obliged her. Terry whooped and shot you a smile. What color do you think the next one will be? Looking Baxter glanced, Cove answered immediately. Green. It was orange. Baxter chuckled. It wasn't interested in calling Cove out for being wrong. Is that your favorite color, green? It's one of them. And that's nice. It matches you. And is yours black? That's one of them. Cove smirked just a little and left the conversation there. Stay next to Baxter. Baxter continued watching the other three before he suddenly turned left his eyes on you as soon as you'd gone near. How do you do, Beanie? Enjoying the view? Yes, gorgeous. Well, that is no small relief, I will say. The others had taken notice of your absence on the waterfront and had begun migrating the crowd further back. Baxter glanced over his shoulder when he noticed you staring at something behind him. He artistically jogged to the car's side. Everything okay? And are you? Michael's brows knit together, clear worry. We can head home if you're not. Yes, no problem. They were sweet for worrying, but you shook head. It wasn't that you were upset. You were just happier where you were. Same as Baxter. I'm fine. Don't worry. You're missing the show. You can watch it where you want to. Well, if you're sure. Still, despite your assurance, go search your eyes for any answers. To the contrary. Do you want me to stay back with you? It's fine. You should go with Terry and Miranda. Coast myself before quietly retreating. He stopped to take another look at you on his way to the horse edge, but eventually relented as he waved him on. Baxter picked a good place to watch from. Every point, every angle of the view was dazzling. The fireworks sprayed colors across the sky, and for a moment you were holding your breath before whatever came next. No words could adequately describe that anticipation. Try as Terry might, you could still hear her cheer at every new spectacle. Baxter tilted closer, but kept enough distance between you to remain polite. His eyes met yours in wordless invitation, half lifting an arm in case he needed to come closer. You snuggled up with him, why not? You slid into his arms, puzzle piece fitting into the right place. He hummed low and agreeable as he held you close enough to press his warmth into you. You could feel his heartbeat through your thin clothes. He adjusted your position so that you could both see the fireworks and rest his head comfortably on top of yours. Your eyes continued to search the sky when Baxter spoke up. His voice was impossibly quiet in the way that things are when it was important. You looked amazing. Do you know what? That fireworks show immediately became unimportant. They might have all fizzled out into nothing for you, you've been aware. Thank you. First ice cream goes gaze out onto the horizon. But you couldn't tell if it was out of amusement or the situation or some unexpected shyness. In the dim light, you could make out the glare of the fireworks in his eyes. The hand had a sharp jaw. I've been meaning to tell you that all day, since we were at the beach. We were walking side by side after the ice cream truck left, and in your bedroom. What? Nothing stood out in your memory particularly unique. It was so natural at the time that you spent together, but now you're gone. Suddenly, you had to accept the reality that he'd been anticipating this since the very beginning. The whole time, Baxter had been waiting for the opportunity to say something. It may surprise you to know I'm not adept at picking my words. I care a great deal about what I say and that it makes the correct impression. I'm not always successful. My approach is off, really. Fortunately, even I could realize there wasn't a right moment to tell you that. Then we got here, and I thought this was what feels right. Hope I'm not wrong, after all. But even if I am, the words are true all the same. So you look amazing. And even after all that, I fear amazing does not adequately express what I think. How regrettable. There are a few things on this earth that could truly embarrass Baxter, and this was not one of them. He didn't flinch or start with surprise when you leaned in and pressed your lips against his. Instead, his fingers grazed your cheek, soft enough to burn, and kiss you in return. He moved in closer, laughing when he accidentally bumped your nose into his. It was parted, and the ever-growing temptation to kiss him again stayed when he touched his forehead to yours. His breath lingered in the small space between you both. One explosion of color followed another, and the exuberance, I can't say the word, of your friends couldn't be measured. You'd seen fireworks before. They weren't anything new, but all those times you attended events before, wasn't anything close to this. You nearly missed it, and it wasn't even a show really for you to see. That's what made it special, the effort it took for you to get there, the places you were watching from, and the people that you were watching with. The finale of the fireworks took center stage, dozens scattered across the sky. The sparks of them descended into the sea below. It was as if they were impossibly far away, distant stars, and yet though also close enough to reach and touch them. In the back of your mind, you knew that there would be likely never be another day exactly like that one. When it was over, it'd be over forever. And that made it a precious experience. You vowed to hold on to the memories, feelings in this one single moment for as long as you possibly could. Woo! I swear to God. We're getting there! We're getting there! Oh God. As soon as we're done with this last DLC, I'm gonna just start doing 2 at a time. And I'll start early in the morning for stream too. And just like plow through them. I know that I know the word. It was probably not the right word, but hey, it still works. Let's see who is live. Shadow is live. He's doing a 24-hour stream, ironically enough. So I'm gonna send you out to him. He's doing Ash to Eerie, Killer, the insanity of it all. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and I shall see you all tomorrow. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and see you tomorrow. Bye!